Hi, and welcome to the Fluid Voice. I, as always, am Ozma in the Dark, still rocking she, they pronouns, and still a complete mess. Christy, how are you doing?
I am polka-ing she, her. Uh, flamenco polka, which is a new thing that I'm trying out with my gender. So
And and Perfict, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Still using he, him.
Okay. And as usual, before we start, we must say the YouTube prayers. Like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment for feedback, and you know, the bell. The bell does something, probably.
the bell does something.
I mean, the bell gives you annoying messaging whenever we're up, but like yeah. So today
The bell gives Libby Lance her superpowers. That is only for one or two nerds in the audience.
So today we are talking about self-care, and I can neither confirm nor deny that this is a desperate cry for help on my part. Honestly, it was partially because we didn't talk about it a lot when we were talking about forgiveness and self-care. Was out there for in terms of a topic, and it was just like, you know what would work for a topic right now? Self-care. Because I have been really low on spoons the past couple weeks. I don't know about you guys.
I can't get out of my chair, so
Yeah, no, I suppose that's a factor.
I mean, I literally cannot get up. I just walked to the store and took everything I had. And the store is only on the corner.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
And
when you're not making a lot of spoons, it can be a real problem. Doing anything requires a great deal of effort and planning.
I have this constant knife in my back, so actually the doctors always ask me to describe it, and I say it's like a very small person is poking, is just jabbing me with an ice pick 24/7. Some days it's just harder to deal with than others, and today is one of those days.
Yeah, and so just to be clear, when I'm talking about spoons, I'm talking about the general spoon theory and using how many spoons you have as a way to estimate how much you can get done, sort of to break it down. How much you can get done to spoons. I'm saying that because there's an audience, and I can't remember half
spoons
the time
might
what
be
I've
throwing.
mentioned
You're right.
Before,
they might go, what are they talking about? Spoons.
Yeah, because we've already mentioned spoons a bunch, and now I've got the Matrix quote stuck in my head. There is no spoon. That's been my week, the past couple weeks.
Spoon.
Seriously though, I had a court-related meeting with relation to a loan I had taken out in 2016, and it was basically like you go to like you have a court appointment, but you can talk with the attorney for the loan, the bank or whatever, and like talk out a payment plan, which is technically still more beneficial for me, especially because there is also a COVID thing. So I've got a little bit of time to try to get some aspects of my life together. And then on Thursday, there was the traumatic brain injury specialist last week. So it was just...
Did he give you another one then?
No. The specialist didn't give me another traumatic brain injury.
How good is he?
First off, the traumatic brain injury specialist was a woman. So, like, you know.
I know, I'm sexist at heart.
Well,
it's the 50s.
Women can be debt collectors too.
Also, the attorney was a woman and the judge was a woman. The judge was really nice about gender related stuff. So in some ways, that aspect was a good experience. I think I talked about that. The court thing. Well, I don't remember what I talk about off air and on air a lot because I have no filter a lot of the time.
I can see how that could be validating and humanizing. So, yeah.
It's batty that I've been physically unable to do my room. This may seem nonsense, but it's mentally draining.
Yeah.
I feel useless. And Jane will be moving in Thursday.
Ooh.
So Thursday. Okay, that just hit me.
Yeah. No, that's the thing about these things and why it's... I think, especially when, for whatever reason, it's more difficult to do stuff. Well, I mean, for me, I have several psychological things going on with my brain. So I guess my point is that it's physically I can do stuff, but my ability to motivate myself, plan that stuff out, and not like have a intense psychological reaction. Well, whatever. I had a panic attack trying to apply for a job, like somewhere in the past 2 weeks. Like,
yeah.
It's things like that where it's just like, because I know I need to get that stuff done, but at the same time, self-care oftentimes, because there's other stuff that seems more important than self-care, it's very easy for self-care to get put on the wayside for me, and that's not good for my general psychological health. I know it's not good, but at the same time, it's hard. It's a hard thing to get past because it's very much it's very much like it seems like a small thing. Everything that involved with self-care seems like a small thing and isn't directly related to your survival. So when it comes to small things like that, it's hard to see the impact. Because it's a lot of little bits of negative impact. I feel like probably is a better way, a good way to describe it. Maybe? Like a messy room doesn't like make me feel horrible all the time, but it does kind of suck constantly.
Nobody else here gets to hear this, but you guys have heard me walk across my room. I think that speaks for itself. So it's not just messy.
Here's the thing. You guys usually hear me walk across the cleanest part of my room. Let's just
But it's not
I have the capability, but I'm not going to put a video move my camera to below my desk because it's awful. Like basically everything it is lots of bottles of stuff, and it's the sort of thing where it hasn't been cleaned enough where I'm just like, oh yeah, it's been like 2 or 3 weeks since I've had a Monster Energy drink, as I see one under my desk.
I moved back here in this is how bad some of it can get. Part of it has to do with at least my form of autism is thing blindness. I really don't see things. I only see people. So I don't notice a lot. I give you an example. There's a statue of Michael next to where I keep my car key. That statue apparently has been there since we moved in, which was 6 years ago. And I just noticed it about 3 weeks ago. So speaking of things, what's under there? Let's see. I moved out for a year and a half, and I moved back in October of 2017. The box that's underneath that blanket is filled with empty soda bottles that I brought back with me.
Why did you bring them back with you, is the question.
So I could return them.
Wait, return them where?
Bottle return.
Wait, what's the bottle return?
It's where you bring bottles back.
Yeah, lots of states have deposits.
Oh. I usually just do the recycling.
Yeah, technically these are not allowed to be recycled in New York. You have to put them in. You have. I'm actually just looking here. Oh, okay, well, that one doesn't count. I can just reach anywhere and find a bottle. Because at least 2 of them say Minnesota on
it. Okay.
So.
What, have you been ordering, what is it?
No, what Christy is saying is that she has another excuse to drop by Minnesota and we can hang out in real life. That's what I'm hearing.
Well, this one's just Maine, Vermont, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and New York. So that doesn't count.
There's a soda that's made in Minnesota, but I can't remember what it is.
Joe?
There's a soda made in Minnesota.
What was it that?
Oh, I said Jones soda? I'm guessing. I'm sorry.
That might be it.
All I know, look, I only know of one thing. Well, I was gonna say only one thing. I take that back. I know of several things that are only in the United States. Or not the United States, Minnesota. Because obviously Mall of America is only in Minnesota. But in terms of I think Devani's is only in Minnesota. I think maybe one other state.
Oh, well, I happen to know of several soda companies, some of which are bigger. They do, actually export commercially, but there's several small soda companies that they will ship like anywhere in the world, but they're small and local. They only, like within one state. And one of them seemed to me in my mind was in Minnesota. But
Well, see, now I have to look it up. I'm curious now.
This is going to sound like a sidetrack, but I trust me, it'll come back around. Bumble and Tinder keep trying to get me back, which is funny. But
yes, well, Bumble and Tinder are both just hung up on you.
Yeah, I know. I thought that they're not that into me, but the one I got from Tinder, the text I got from Tinder last night was funny. I thought it was, your commitment to procrastination is astonishing. Now make other commitments. I was like, oh wait, I feel way too seen by Tinder right now.
That sounds like a fortune cookie.
That seems too soon. Also, oh damn it, I had a really good fortune cookie that I can't remember. And I am now sad that I can't remember it. I should have kept it. It was like really weird. Anyways, self-care. Back to self-care, because I do actually care about the topic of self-care. I genuinely do. I just also know that, or I'm habitually a hypocrite when it comes to self-care, in that I will tell other people that they should take time off and take care of themselves, and then I am just like, well, no, that's not completely true. I do try a little bit.
Well, all of what we're talking about is self-care, really. I mean, it's not divorce format.
Yeah, when we have good episodes too, it's especially helps so long as I'm not stressing out too much about it. The thing about me is I snowball. I go like, either I can let it go, and now I have the frozen song stuck in my head. Anyways, either I can let it go and it's, I can just be like, okay, we couldn't get a guest, let me find a topic that would work really well for not having a guest. And I'm like, okay, self-care, partially because of, well, I already mentioned some of the reasons I chose it, but also, I can do that sometimes, but at the same time, like, I was stressing out about it, and then somewhere around most of the way through the week, I was essentially remember interviewing me, Christy, like a couple of weeks ago?
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, oh shit. I was worrying about the fluid voice being too much like an interview. I was worried about that, and then I was worried about like where can we go from here? How can we make sure it doesn't get stagnant? How can we make sure there's something different uh and had a whole stress out about that. And then I'm like, wait.
And
I'm
you
like,
didn't
what
do
if
the
I can't
homework
think of
with all the
topics
stuff.
and all that stuff? And I'm just like, wait. That's part of why I like to ask a bunch of different guests and see what they talk about and they care about, because that actually helps me pick a different topic each time, and I can try to keep it interesting. So, like, I had already, to some degree, had thought of that sometime in the past, but it was just like easy to
But the
worry about
the
it.
interview with you the interview with you was supposed to be about Calvin Garrett. So, and then you came on and said you didn't know who that was. So, kind of threw a lot off.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. We talked about something else. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I know. I see. That's why I work. Because I also didn't feel like I did the best job the past couple episodes of the Fluid Voice.
No, you're doing fine. It's just
Well, the thing is, I was just like, well, some of the sidetrack with Junk Shop Library, I was all, I felt bad for because it kept getting sidetracked to something that our guest wasn't super familiar with, and I want a good experience for the guest as well. And with Kellen, I feel like I did a bad job choosing the topic. But like I think it might it's probably just me being excessively harsh on myself about um uh yeah, just
well here. I mean, to be perfect, that's another stack of shit just falling down. It's fine.
Entropy. It's called entropy.
Everything's fine. Yeah. In general, if I know the topic a few days in advance, I do some research and I just go from there. It's I used to worry about it a lot more. For the interviews I do, if I haven't talked to the person one-on-one before, I will go and do 20 hours of watching their stuff, or reading their stuff, or whatever their stuff. But it's also, you know, all of us schmucks on the internet have an opinion, and that's kind of what we're here for. I mean, we're here to solve some shit.
I mean, that's true, and admittedly, this episode does fit one of the aspects of things I wanted to point out. Because, like, I like the idea of this show being relatively raw and real.
Yeah.
And
Well, I think we've met that.
well, I mean, this episode definitely fits that. And
it's so Rod's acrobatic half the time.
And it's just Um,
On
I don't know. I'm. I suppose it doesn't help that like I want to do more, but I also know I don't have the spoons to do more because I have to save some of those spoons for figuring out temp work and Section 8 housing and traumatic brain injury stuff. So it's just like it's a lot of because like I want to stream more on my Twitch. Um, I want to try to set up um, a conversation with Vosh and a conversation with Destiny because they are open to conversations with smaller creators, and it's about specific stuff that I do want to change their minds about and want to, because they're bigger than me, and if I can change their minds towards something better, I would like to. And there's enough self-reflection that makes it seem like there's a sliver of a possibility.
Well, there are two reasons. You did two different things. You said two different things there.
Oh, sorry.
They're compatible. It's just I want to respond to both of them if that's
Yeah.
right.
Go ahead.
I started doing preliminary research on about the guests prior to, or not because of the turf that we got, but when I didn't know the term kaiju, and I should have, when Kelly was on, and I skipped out partially because of that. It was like, this is a topic on which I have no, and yet I have a lot of experience with it. It had what the term was, and I didn't even look it up which is unusual. The second thing, you never know what's going to happen. I think I mentioned this last week, but and I won't say who, or I mean I could, but somebody said that an interview I did on Transgarter helped them come out.
Yeah.
And plus we've had feedback that we've changed some minds out there, and I think these are all good things. Going in with that intention is never going to work, but going out, just being true. Okay, this is something I was saving for something I'm doing, but what finally got me to come out? I mean, there was a cascade of things, but one of the primary things is meeting a trans person who had a relatively normal life. Was angry about some shit, socially, but just a relatively normal life. And that's something I never thought I had. And I didn't tell her for a long time. That's what, I mean, she was the catalyst. But there you go.
Yeah. And like, I mean, so I'm partially aware of the I mean, I've mentioned it several times on this show, the whole thing about humanizing trans people, because humanizing is the first step to because there's so much dehumanizing stuff. So like, part of wanting to be out there is partially to try to make it so, you can be trans and basically what you described. You saw someone who had a normal life, something that you could connect with, and then that, not to say that you were inherently dehumanizing them as people, but like dehumanizing, there was like a separation between the idea of like it sounded like there's a separation, like a dissociation from it, or maybe I'm projecting a little from. I mean, I know, I know a lot of times, when it came to transitioning, it was a lot of. There are times when you see someone on TV and you are just like, that could never be my life. And you see someone who is able to get like all this, all this stuff done when you don't have like the spoons for a job or something, and you're just like, you barely have the spoons for. I technically have spoons for part-time work. Full-time work, I can't realistically sort out a way to do full-time work and take care of myself to any significant degree. But yeah, it's just, there are a lot of ways in which it's very like if me seeing ContraPoint's transition, or me seeing Blair White transition, I know Blair White is like not a good person, but me seeing that, it's very easy for me to just be like, that's not gonna be me to any degree. It's very much I mean, for one, I'm fed throughout society. For a lot of my life, I was fed the whole, you'll always look like a dude type thing for transitioning. So that was demoralizing. Before I could get HRT, and it was very much just there's just a lot of there's a lot of ways where it feels like, yeah, like I said, something that I can't do. It's not like I don't have, a bunch of problems outside of dealing with transitioning. I just admittedly, I wasn't motivated to deal with the other stuff until I could get HRT.
Passing is yeah. I've said it before, but if there's one thing my mom taught me, is to enter every place like you belong there. Which, for someone who's incredibly socially awkward like me, and the whole autism thing where small talk is weird for me. Unless you want to talk the minutia of, 1970s DC Comics. I can do that.
Well, I legit I feel like at some point I made an effort to learn how to do small talk, and I can't remember exactly when, but I feel like that's something I did in my early 20s.
My other things I never talked about with my mom, and I was very small and very girly, and picked on a lot. And so my mother taught me how to do comedy. I mean, she would literally drill me in how to do comedy and how to construct a joke, how to take a joke apart. It's one of the reasons why I'm very fast with a joke, good or not.
Yeah.
I think there's some part of her who wanted me to be a stand-up comedian. Wanted me to be a stand-up. Yeah, who knows?
I honestly choose the easier choice of just spouting whatever comes to my head and hoping that it's funny, and it might not be funny, but also being on the autism spectrum, it was very much the thing where it was more likely to get laughed at, so there's probably a reactionary aspect of well, if I just say what's it on my brain. See, this is why I don't have a filter, because I've been spouting everything that's in my head since like middle school or something.
Well, the greatest current comedian is autistic, so Hannah Gadsby. You don't know Hannah Gadsby?
No, because missing. I am terrible at knowing people.
Oh my god.
I'm terrible with names. Okay, like, I mean, I say that there are some people I know very easily.
Don't stop arguing. Just go watch Hannah Gadsby when you're finished tonight. Or tomorrow. I'll send you... I can't really send you a link. I suppose I can send you my Netflix password. Probably not a good idea, but I could do it.
Nah, I can... I'll just look up... I'll find a way. Well, I mean, for one thing, my roommates, I think, have a Netflix subscription still.
Well, there you go. But she's autistic, and one of the things, because she not everything in her set is funny, and she breaks down the entire idea of comedy, which is something my mother taught me. But one of the reasons for being quick with a joke is that everything that I think has to be translated to human anyway. You know. And you are autistic too. You understand that too. I use the word human.
Lapping this back onto the self-care and
yes.
Also. Whoops. Oh my, I'm considerably out of sync.
Oh.
Well, your timing was good, so go for it.
Okay, well, I'll try it. Lapping this back onto the self-care and depressive apathy, that part of the problem with that is the exhibiting self-care. People will tend to try and do a whole lot, and they want to, they offer courses in how to, how to get out of depressive apathy, and that doesn't make a lot of sense. It reminds me of the old joke about in Alcoholics Anonymous, where the psychiatrist says, I can help you with that drinking problem, but first you have to stop drinking. Okay. If you could get around to doing that whole course, this would be a sign that you were not having the problem with depressive apathy. That what people do, however, is that they take on too much. And I think that one of the things is to learn, and this is part of self-care, caring for yourself, is you do a little bit that having a messy room is impeding you from doing other things. It makes it more difficult to find the paperwork or do this or that or any of these other things that help you out in your life. So you need to be addressing that. And if you just clear up some of the bottles and then tell yourself that you did a good job, you can even say it out loud, and then make yourself a cup of tea. But don't try and pan that into a major cleaning and a revision with dreams of how you're going to reorganize your entire life.
Oh,
let that work out the details. Just make yourself a cup of tea and call it a good job.
One of the things that I learned to do when I was physically unable to get up was to do 8 things, just 8. That's all I needed to do. And if I did 8 things every hour, eventually it would get done.
That seems like a lot of things.
Okay.
That might just be me. I'm sorry. I don't.
Let's see. 2, 3.
Oh, gotcha. 8 individual things an hour.
Yeah. Or I'm the last time I made some progress. Beneath my desk was just, I had no place to put my feet anymore. Was 16 because I could, and Emily sent me tea, so I have tea.
Okay. Well, I don't think I have tea, so I'm not quite sure I can do this. Sorry, that's a bad joke. I know that it's based on a certain feeling. I can't quite remember, but yeah. No, I'm better at
this is
being like
thing
a clump.
You're about to make it. You're gonna say why you can't do this, so I'm gonna interrupt you.
Oh, okay. Well, no, I was gonna say that I can do it. I probably just wouldn't frame it the exact same way.
One of the ways that my thinking has been rewired very recently was anything that's worth doing is worth doing poorly, because you're always told it's worth doing well.
Yeah. No,
washing your hair when you can't get in the shower, that's a thing that you did. And or I don't know, making a pot of coffee when you really should be making lunch, but you did something.
Yeah.
And it was a way of thinking I had, because I'd always the other way of thinking going on, and that was more frustrating because if I couldn't do it while I felt I shouldn't start.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a much better thing to utilize. And it's true for everything. And I am just reminded of writing and how if I'm more worried about important stuff to deal with writing, but writing, it's definitely also the case. It's worth writing, even
Well,
if you write poorly. Because what happens sometimes is you write.
What was my big piece of advice? What was my big piece of advice on writing? It's the best piece of advice I ever got, and damn it, I'm going to pass it on to anybody who asks.
I forgot what your piece of advice was.
Of course you did, sure. If you write one page a day, at the end of a year, you will have a 365-page novel.
Oh, that actually is really nice. I was thinking about
the writers write.
I was just thinking about
And what you need to do is address the page. And even if you write nothing at all, schedule some time when you will be addressing the page every day. When you have scheduled times when you will be sitting down and addressing the page, and that's all you do. You sit down, and if you don't write anything during that time, that's okay too.
Well, I was thinking in terms of
that doesn't work for us. I mean, it literally does not work with the way our minds work. We have to approach it differently from the side.
Well, I just like the applying the something is worth, if something's worth doing, do it poorly or whatever. Applies to
it's worth doing poorly.
Yeah, and that definitely applies to writing, because it's worth, like, even if I write bad stuff, I'll suddenly find myself accidentally writing something really that I consider really enjoyable and I like a bunch. And because like you can always rewrite stuff if you don't vibe with it or whatever, you don't feel like the story vibes with it, but you never really get there unless you write more.
When I'm saying about doing the certain amount each hour or something, one of the things I do in writing, and I have not written in the past year much. This is a failing. I've also haven't played guitar much in the last year. This last year sort of, but it's been mentally weird on everybody. So I'm not.
I think this whole year has been basically a mulligan for everybody.
Yeah, but the one thing I'll do is, if I have some idea of how quickly the story is running, I will write 500 words a day on that story. I'll usually have 2 or 3 things at once, but on that story, I'll write 500 words a day, and I will stop wherever 500 words is. So mid-sentence doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, there's other things. The last novel, not the one that I keep talking about working on, that I'm not getting as much done as I think I am. The last novel I wrote in 2 sittings, which probably not my best move, but
yeah. See, I honestly, so for one, I want to obviously I'm going to continue doing the flute voice and Rainbow Shelter News or whatever. Just in general. Because I like doing that, and plus Rainbow Shelter News gives me an excuse to look up the news and keep track of more news and hear about more news. But the thing about a lot of other stuff I am bad at committing to, partially because I really need to get a handful of things sorted out in my life so that I can be in a situation that I have some amount of control in.
If you wait for that, it will never happen.
Well, I mean, I'm not planning on waiting for that, but... Oh, you mean, like, in terms of the... I just mean, like... I not like complete control. I just mean like my roommates don't want me to be here. And I'm trying to sort out getting out to a place where I can live. And I want to
Yeah, but
be in a situation where I'm not excessively terrified of being homeless, I guess.
now this is something I can't do. Well, I can with music. I can not playing music necessarily, but anytime doing something, those considerations have to go away. The self-care of it is not, and I get you and I are very similar in mindset in a lot of ways, but I'm going to say something, and I'm not meaning this in any way cruelly. You are making a lot of excuses.
Go on. I don't understand.
If these are things that need to be done and they're separate from the other things that need to be done, then keep them separate. Looking for housing, when keeping your mind on looking for housing when you're writing something is useless. Looking for housing when you're just trying to clean the damn floor is useless. Having that in your head. If that's not something that can be dealt with right now, and I know we tend to dwell on this shit because it's, you know, it's right there, and forgetting is really hard, and everything is a bit of obsession. But if there's some way of making it go away for just that amount of time, then what needs to be done can be done. One of the things that we do have as skill, us little Abbey funny birds, is the ability to compartmentalize, and utilizing it is very important, especially with a tendency to dwell on things. And you've been saying as how you can't do X. Every time something gets brought up, you can't do that. And I realize I'm talking with a box of bottles from 2017 over my shoulder.
Look,
But
that doesn't.
I also have bags of bottles. I have bags of bottles out in the hallway, and at 1:30 tomorrow afternoon, I will be taking them to the bottle return place. And when I do that, I will not be thinking about. Well, I probably will be working in my head soon, but I won't be thinking about how am I going to deal with airplane stuff. So I don't know. I'm partly.
No,
I'm not actually crabbing at you. I'm kind of crabbing at my own excuses.
Yeah, but
Because
but
what you're doing is you're
do.
echoing what you're echoing my own excuses right now.
Gotcha. Yeah, no. See, this is why we're friends, so we can like point out. I mean, I'm an admitted hypocrite when it comes to a lot of stuff in terms of what I say, even if it's something that I think is important or have good reason, especially if I have good reason to think it's important, like it's basic. If I'm like respouting something that a therapist talked to me about, or and I don't. You make a good point, Christy. You make a really good point. And I am honestly just trying to think of how I could compartmentalize this stuff, because it's I mean, I suppose it doesn't help that sometimes things, obviously this stuff will be brought up again when it comes to with roommates or whatnot. It's going to be on occasion brought up, and to some degree it does help that I am moving forward with some of the stuff. But yeah, you do make a good point in terms of utilizing compartmentalization. That is actually good advice, and I do appreciate it. It's one of those things where I don't care if you follow your own advice. I mean, I do care if you follow your own advice, if it's good advice. I do want you to like have good things, but like I'm not going to the quality of your advice isn't necessarily your ability to follow your own advice doesn't change whether or not you happen to say something that's a really good point.
Well,
and
so, I mean,
I don't
compartmentalization I can do. For instance, I'm thinking, okay, what am I doing? I just thought, okay, let's get an example of compartmentalizing. What am I doing right after the show? I am doing something, but my brain is, but I told myself to forget it until it was time to do it. That takes some practice. We have to finish arranging the airplane so Jane can get here. That's a big deal, but
well, I
relevant
mean,
to the show.
So yeah, I think. Well, I mean, I know. I have a general idea of what I need to do. What I need to do is I need to set aside a time to worry about job stuff or part-time work and housing related stuff. I just need to set, and that's the time for worrying about that and doing stuff about that. and then you know, once that time's done, then that time's done. Like I'm aware of some of these things, but sometimes I end up in like
Internal cycles. We can run after our tails with the best of them.
Yeah, and it's just, but like also it's the thing is, if I set like a specific time and a specific day to do that, I can't if I don't do that, then it's very easy for that schedule thing to get broken, and I have to completely recreate it from the ground up.
Yeah, I get it.
So it's like, yeah, it's just it's a mess.
Yeah. I think the ability. Maybe I'm too good at compartmentalizing because I'm like, I know I have something to do tomorrow. Oh right, I have an all-day doc. Okay. Because I'm actively thinking about what the schedule is, and I don't really want to be, so.
Yeah, and like I know that this is a good thing to do that, to schedule when to care about important stuff, because I can't overwhelm myself. But yeah, like it's very easy to end up back at the default, and then I need to get motivation again while spiraling or whatever.
Which is rough. And we've been leaving Perfict out, and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No. I'm here. I could have jumped in at any moment. I was listening.
This is some of this has to do with some of this has to do with just the being human part. Some of it has to do with the autistic part, where nothing is ever gone. Everything is always immediate. That's at least for me, that's very hard to deal with, and I've worked out ways to stop.
Well, okay, so for me, definitely everything is always immediate. I almost always, if someone mentions something needs to get done, my brain is like, oh, if it needs to get done, I need to be doing it right now, and there's no. And then I get like, I assume it just has to be done like right away. By the way, I still need to thank you and Jesse Gender about the finger snapping. Anyways, sorry, I've gotten. I can consistently finger snap well, but
well, that was a skill you needed to know.
It was a super important skill, because otherwise I can't do the Q thing. Anyways,
you can't be a proper bisexual without this, you know.
But yeah, so it's things are it's easy for me to think about other stuff and then not. I can get really over focused really easily for some things,
Yeah.
and then it's just like everything else can get irrelevant, and definitely if I'm and that definitely doesn't help if I'm spiraling and stressing out about something like work or some similar sort of thing, and it's just like I want to it
Well,
focusing on
I mean,
stressing on the stressful aspects of what the worst case scenario, because I mean obviously I've got journalist anxiety disorder, so like it's very easy for me to
yeah.
get worst case scenario with the so with job stuff, obviously the worst case scenario in my brain is homelessness or whatnot. Honestly,
I thought it would be falling into a drill press. Worry about that.
well, I mean, like, yeah, I don't think I would starve to death because I think, and I. So when I was 17, I definitely shoplifted.
You're really gonna give me that opening line?
Look, look, it's I was 17. It's like I'm 35 now. It's way past the statute of limitations. Also, the statute of limitations technically ended when I turned 18, I believe, for crimes committed as a teenager. I don't know for sure, but that being said, I am confident because I didn't commit a major crime that there is no way to end up in any legal trouble for mentioning that.
No, I was just gonna start singing. You started when I was 17 and then paused.
Oh,
And I'm supposed to say, it was a very good year.
I'm sorry, I didn't think about that one.
Well,
It's a good
if
song.
I mean, if you do wind up falling into a drill press, at least you'll be flat broke.
Yeah, no, I was just like,
I'm
yeah.
actually panicking because I can't remember where I wrote down what time this appointment is now. See, I'm not immune to this.
Oh, wait, do you use my chart?
What's that?
Do you use my chart?
I would guess that was a no.
I'm guessing that's a no. Yeah. No,
I just jot down things on the backs of envelopes. I have so much scrap paper here.
yeah. See, this is why I like the internet. This is why I like getting emailed receipts. This is why I like because I
Do you know
don't
how
want to
cheap
lose them.
Post-its are?
What?
I said, do you know how cheap Post-its are?
Oh.
I hate waste to the point where I will reuse everything I can. So this is, for instance, this is part of a script sheet, you know, that comes with your prescription, and I have notes all over it.
Oh.
So that is a non-wasted piece of paper.
Yeah, see, this is where self-care also factors in for um, I mean, you can make arguments that waste is bad, which it is objectively bad. It's just the fact of the matter is you're also a human being, and you also can only do so much. And if getting rid of some of that waste will help you survive,
It won't. I use empty potato chip bags as my garbage bags because why not? They're already been used and they're small enough for me to carry downstairs as opposed to a large garbage bag. This is just in my room, obviously not in the kitchen, but
Yeah, and those
it's
are
kind of like,
economies of footprint that
well,
make sense. They
Yeah.
really do. The notes thing,
and
it
it's also
doesn't make sense for a number of reasons because you're actually cutting into the utility of the notes. They steadily become
usually I
impossible
have
to organize.
the notes. I have the notes for the week right in front of me. It's just that I don't right now for reasons I can't quite explain. So I always have, and now I'm panicking, which
Yep.
is precisely what I said not to do.
well, yeah, but I mean, here's the thing.
You're disobeying yourself.
Well, no, here's where friends come along and just tell you, wait, what do you say? Fuck, I don't know. I should know how to stop the um the I should know how to stop spirals.
Also, taking notes on your computer, bits are 100% recyclable, as Prim is pointing out.
There's also write down
Emily's
for
telling
tactile,
me-
then take a
Emily's
picture of
telling
paper
me
with your phone.
Emily's telling me to write down for tactile, and yes, I'm more likely to remember if I write it down than I put it on a scheduler. And then with my phone, which is not a bad move.
Yeah.
I will say.
Yeah.
I have one quick thing. I have one quick thing to say to Emily,
Okay.
but it's not for anybody else in the audience. So.
Okay. So, shit. Oh yeah, no. My chart
No,
is just the thing that like 3 sets of hospital related stuffs have different my charts, and it's basically like a scheduling thing, and it's on the computers, and I can copy that schedule to my calendar on my phone, and so even if I don't remember exactly, I can very quickly find what I have scheduled.
Yeah. But that's not really the point of it. I do often keep electronic schedule as well. Mostly, I actually have someone who they pay to do this for me.
Yeah.
I can call first thing. I can call first thing in the morning. I do not know why I'm panicking. This is stupid. All right. I will now stop doing that.
That happens, and feelings happen. I will say, Prim, I can't. Physical calendars are useless for me. And I say that only because right now, I'm looking right next to the door, and there's a physical calendar from 2020 that I never moved past February. In the entire time it's been up on the wall.
I'll never be over Macho Grande.
I can't do physical calendars. I can't do at all. I am bad with that. And admittedly, I do like the part of the reason I like doing stuff on the computer for it is because I mean I can, if I don't do it right, it's easier to fix for me. I mean, to be fair, as always, at least somewhat decent with computers.
Yeah, you can save a fortune on whiteout.
Oh. Speaking of which, sorry, computers
Well,
brought my
provided you
brain
can buy a
back to
screen every so
Linux.
once in a while.
And something Linux was mentioned at some point.
I don't know how to do Linux
before. I remember in high school.
I'm required to learn Linux.
In high school, I used to use Red Hat Linux on one of the computers. I don't know if anyone else remembers Red Hat Linux. It was
I am old enough to have used assembler.
Yeah, I mostly just used DOS and fuck, what was the programming language? The programming language that was on DOS. DOS. No,
DOS.
I can't think of it for some reason. Basic programming. That should have been, well, a basic thing to remember. No, I have never committed enough to learning programming.
For what it's worth, I don't do any of this stuff to not do a footprint. It's not the way my brain works. I like that that's a side effect. I don't see the point of having an empty bag and then going downstairs and getting another one.
Yeah, no, I can imagine once I sort out the living situation stuff, having a trash can but without the bag. I don't do a lot of trash stuff because I'm just going to dump it all into the trash thing.
I find it, I forget sometimes that people just don't think that way. Ty, my housemate Ty, was shoveling when I was bringing out a couple, they're this size bags, and they're, that's reasonable for me to take out. And he said, "Oh, I'll take care of it." And so I put him, I put him.
Oh wait, no.
I put him on the table where they wouldn't get blown over, and he put them in a plastic bag. Like, the fuck are you thinking?
Yeah.
Because
no,
your
reasoning seems to make a lot of sense.
Doing something. Yeah, people are so used to, okay, this goes in plastic bag trash. But why? There's no reason for it, necessarily. If you're someone like me who tends to eat a lot of potato chips or Doritos or whatever, then those bags are there for the taking.
Yeah, no, yeah, yeah, I too also cared about the why. One bag easier. I mean, I guess plastic bags can be easier to carry, potentially.
Full garbage bag. I filled it while I was doing the demonstration.
Yeah, no. I mean, to be fair, I've got plastic bags from uh CVS shopping, so to be fair, I do put stuff in those plastic bags because they're here. Yeah, look, I realize that's the better thing to do on economic, or not economic. And
it's not an environmental thing for me either. None of this is. If I was an environmentalist at heart, which I would like to think I am, but I am very well aware I'm not, I wouldn't be doing this. This is shit for the soil.
Yeah. I don't. Ecological. Thank you, Emily. And also, night to, Prim. Yeah, no, it's, I don't know, I just, obviously, I can't ever remember to bring a bag, and that obviously is part of the problem, but, like, also, I mean, they're giving out recycling bags. They're giving out bags to be used. Maybe this is what happens when you have 3 people who are not neurotypical in a house. You end up with a lot of reusing of bags.
See, yes, that's part of the symptoms.
What? Yeah, the two big autistic questions are, why do people do that, and why should I do that?
Well, yeah, well, I mean, Laura, admittedly, after the first hour, we always get diverted a little from the theme of the show. But yes.
Well,
yeah, we do admittedly, we should probably get back to
well, we try and tie things back in occasionally, yes. Back to self-care?
To be perfectly honest, developing my own way of doing things is self-care. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't going off the topic. This is actually one of the things that I take as self-care. I like to be able to figure out a different way of doing, not necessarily to figure out if the way people do it is the most efficient way or the best way for me, and not really caring if other people do it differently.
Yeah,
I used to care a lot, but it was mostly because I didn't understand.
Yeah, yeah, and that is actually something really important for taking care of yourself, is finding the way to, sometimes getting different advice on the same thing is helpful, so you can figure out, play around and see what works for you for doing a thing. I mean, some people like showers more than baths, and some people like baths more than showers. And some people probably would take a shower more if I got back into an exercising routine. because that gives me an
Well,
excuse to shower. It really does. Like, I shower more if I exercise more, because I always shower after exercising.
Well, I have the train. And this is, I was trying to explain to Jane a little bit. But there was a and this is going off a little bit, but I said there's a joke that's not really funny in trans circles, which is trans people shower the same way as everybody else does. Get the water warm, we step into the shower, and then we cry for an hour.
Okay.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I didn't say it, but it certainly applies to me.
Words. Saying something.
So that bit of self, yeah, I will bring it back. That bit of self-care is incredibly difficult for me.
Yep. Me too. Like I said, exercising is the best way for me to keep clean. Otherwise, it's if I get stressed out enough, I will take a bath. But that's a lot of delay and a lot of stress, and like, if I don't get very stressed out, then I don't take a bath enough. I'm really bad at that aspect of taking care of myself when it comes to stuff. I just sleep in general is its own mess of a situation as well.
Well,
but that involves a lot of stuff.
Okay. I think that one of the understressed and important elements of self-care is telling yourself you did a good job. When you are following your program, telling yourself you did a good job. People tend to neglect that.
And there's a lot I don't like about AA, but one day at a time does certainly work. One minute at a time if necessary. Yeah. One of the and just to go back to that for a second, it's one of the things I miss about performing, and this is going to sound silly, but when has that ever bothered me? Having a regular Thursday night thing where I had to perform on Thursday nights meant I would shower at least once a week, because showering was part of the getting ready to perform.
Words.
Yeah, well, that's making it part of a schedule or routine thing.
Yeah, and routines are helpful.
Yes,
I am really bad at breaking routines, and as I've just mentioned in chat, maybe I'm not good at unexpected stuff, or look, we have a call-in show that we are going to set up, and then that will be focused on call-in stuff. Otherwise, I'm cool with setting up guest stuff, and we can set up a topic and we can talk about things on an episode. But I'm not good at the sort of halvesies thing that we started with, and that also involved led to some bad experiences. So either I'm mentally focused on this could be anybody, and then like just deal with it more like that, and also with Discord, but like it's a lot easier to once I schedule something for like Discord's easier to kick people out of stuff and have them unable to get back in. Zoom, if you give the link and the password, I just don't understand Zoom enough as well. It's just
I can kick people out. I can.
Also, thank you, Emily.
I can ban people.
You can ban people. Okay, that does help a little, although I think some people might have multiple accounts.
Yeah, you can't ban them and their 22 friends
that they gave the password to.
You are giving them far too much credit for friends.
I'm just saying that one experience was terrible. And I'm a worrier. No. And I am actually more familiar with Discord than I am Zoom, although you're more familiar with Zoom than Discord. So
I will be on Zoom for another 2 hours after we get off. So
yeah, and yeah, I mean, you know, at least we have the thing where I can quick press to AFK, so we don't have someone, let's say, hypothetically, jump into Zoom and play pornography. Or have like a creepy guy with a face mask pop into Zoom.
The way
that was a bad day. Okay,
that was just shit. Yeah. Is there any news of the week that people want to bring up, or would people? I mean, I'd be interested in hearing how people feel about Biden's. What are they? Presidential
executive orders?
Executive orders. There we are.
In general,
wait, which ones?
I mean, well, like he put out one that putting aside the trans people are not allowed in the military.
Oh yeah. That was him taking removing an executive order to kick trans people from the military. I mean that's
which I mean it's worth noting that the military was dragging its heels on complying with that. They were not enthusiastic about kicking anybody.
Well,
on that basis.
And also they had already gone through. They basically. It's like if someone sorts out all their feelings and starts moving towards, like, you know, making the right decision, and then someone's just like, nah, you can't make the right decision. You're gonna have to go back and do that other decision, that other thing that you realize is wrong and not a good decision. And then you're just like, yeah, of course they were dragging their heels. With that,
they're high heels, hopefully. Sorry, had to be. They're high heels, hopefully. Sorry, had to be said.
But yeah, no, Biden moving back, like, I'm not a big fan of. I'm not a huge fan of Biden's lowball for student debt forgiveness.
Yeah.
It's understandable why he did this, but and he ran on it, so it's not like anybody's surprised. Although everybody's like, "This is what happened when you're talking to vote blue, no matter who." It's like, oh fuck you. Just you can go storm the Capitol with everybody else. The only news that I care about this week is that Rush Limbaugh is dead, and I somehow can't be upset about that.
Yeah, that's true.
I can understand people wanting to dance in a little circle and sing Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead.
Which did happen on more than one channel.
I mean,
Not
he was
ours.
a vile person, and feeling that he was just an oppressive force on the national zeitgeist is, I mean, I can understand people feeling that way.
Yeah.
Been there since the beginning. I will tell you just one quick thing about Rush. For the not the band who has their own problems. I listened to it for several weeks when it first started, and I thought it was satire. I thought it was bad satire, so I stopped listening.
Now you see, way back when, with the start of his show, I kind of liked listening to his show, in part because it helped the urge to argue with what he was saying helped me organize my own thoughts about my position.
Yeah.
I mean, to some degree, that's fair, I guess. But on the other hand, there are people that agree with him.
Oh, there were points where I think I agreed with him too, but I mean, they were very few and far between.
Well, is that like the thing where the meme where it's like the worst person
a broken
in the
clock
world
is right twice a day?
I was thinking the worst person in the world made a good point or something that you have to agree with. Something like that.
It's a very strange world where Rush Limbaugh got the Medal of Freedom and Dolly Parton turned one down.
Yeah.
So
I am sorry. So many of those things where Donald Trump clearly, he just did not understand what he was supposed to do as a president. He had no clue.
And it's always a question whether he didn't have a clue or he just didn't care, or both.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, that. Yeah. Very easy to do both.
Medals of freedom are not supposed to be rewards for your cronies. Things like that. Why wouldn't I?
Wait, what? Sorry. Russian disabled people can't be against animal testing and real disabled? Oh, that's...
Yes, and that's such a long thing. I mean, on the surface, that's bad. What he actually said is fucking worse.
Oh,
wow!
It's in the book. See, I told you so.
Oh no!
It's horrendous.
Oh, that's... Yeah. No, that's really bad. I mean, it sounds like comparing disabled people to animals, and that sort of dehumanizing nonsense is always bad.
Well, no, that's not. I mean, that's not what he was doing. But
oh, okay. It was a different kind of bad.
It was a different kind of bad. Go read it if you have the stomach.
I don't. Reading takes too much work. And I'm gonna take your advice about compartmentalizing. Instead of using it compartmentalizing for reading, I'm gonna use it to go back to trying to finish that book. I have like, I don't know, like 15,000 words written. So not nothing, but not like
Scrap and start over.
No, I really like it. I really like the story.
Actually, when I write a novel, I write 10,000 words, 10 to 12,000 words, as sort of a test run, and then I ditch them, and then I start again.
Yeah, no, that's not going to work with me, mostly because I am way too attached and invested in this book, and I don't want to scrap it. I really don't. That said, it's not. Just to be clear. Wait. Actually, just for clarification, by scrap it, do you mean rewrite the book?
Yeah, I'll do, like I said, I'll do 10 to 12,000 words so I can get a feel of what it's going to be. And then I put that to the side and start over with It Was a Dark and Stormy Night, and we're good.
Well, I mean, it doesn't start that way, but yeah.
Well, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times, whatever you want to use as a
yeah, I know.
Billy Pilgrim has become unstuck in time. However,
yeah, no. Okay, so I take that back. I mean, I already did that. That's why I got into this many words. Admittedly, I did that with less words written, and I'm fine with. So what I do is a bit more chaotic, and I'll write stuff, and then sometimes I will completely rewrite whole sections of stuff, and
that's called editing.
What?
That's not what I'm talking about at all.
Yeah, I know, but I also but I also rewrote like well, maybe my brain only works in compartmentalized. I like to keep something if I wrote something that I like.
Although there are exceptions. There was the one I keep saying I'm working on that I'm more working on in my head. Someday soon I'll probably explain why it's so hard for me to write. I think I went 25,000 words before I started over. And it wound up being 88,000. So, the stuff I kept because I wrote songs for it, that I kept.
Yeah.
The last novel I have out, the 13,000 words just turned out to be a draft, and I got it, and I just added stuff and made it 60-something thousand words.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I'm not in like a good mindset to. I jump around somewhat in the story.
Imagine that.
Remember, kill your darlings. That's the important part.
Kill my what?
Kill your darlings.
No.
Yes.
No, I mean, look, hear me out. If they die, they die.
That's not what that means.
Oh.
That's one of the reasons for starting over. Because you can tighten without all the baggage that you put in with, okay, who is this? You can have a lot more streamlined in your second attempt. That is why having I call it an idea draft. It's why that works.
Wait. But wait. Wait, I'm trying to... Sorry, this is my brain not processing maybe some of
A lot of what you get out of
mean.
a rewrite is that you don't need to explain at their introduction this character's Machiavellian nature, because that's actually going to be shown. It's going to be developed in the story.
Yeah, most of what you're doing in the idea draft is telling you who these people are.
Oh. I don't know. I don't know. See that? Okay, so I guess I just sort of So I'm the more okay. So it's possible I'm a lot more chaotic than you, because I'm just like the character is already oh, you're saying no? The character, like, I don't like. The characters make their choices. What makes sense for the characters. And I don't have a Machiavellian thought process for the characters. But the characters make... like, I write a bunch, and the characters make a decision, or something has become clear about the world I created that has resulted in a catastrophic bad thing happening to the main character. And...
Yes. Someday I will explain what all I'm trying to say means. It's something it's something I kind of always did, but it was and I know it's de rigueur to say characters make decisions, but they don't. And I get that feeling. I'm certainly with you on that.
Well, yeah, obviously the character... I mean, like... I don't believe that the characters or the story has complete control over itself. Although, I don't know, sometimes I end up writing and then the story goes somewhere I didn't expect it to go.
Oh, that happens. The last one, because it was humor. The detective was told the solution very early on in the novel, which I didn't expect. And yet he kept investigating because he didn't realize that everybody else knows what the answer is and telling him, and he doesn't get it. So that's something I wasn't expecting to do. I had developed a mystery. The case of the arc historical and Org Dixon sort of barbarian mystery. So, yeah, so basically so basically he goes through all the paces of solving a mystery, even though he's been told what the answer is the entire time. That's the thing, and that did not show up in the idea draft. It just made more sense when it came to when I knew the character because I'd done the idea draft. That's what I'm saying. To get to know the characters, great. Now scrap all the things you already know the characters. Now we can actually put them in a setting. The knowing the characters is part of the idea draft. You know the basics of the plot. You know the characters now. You put them in slightly better slots where they look better.
Oh,
And it's not revision, it's complete scratch writing.
oh.
If you have a particular line you like, jot it down somewhere. But...
Yeah, I was just, I was thinking in terms, I guess I was thinking in terms of, I don't know, I don't know, because, like, I did...
We need to do the end of the
Yeah, we do. We do need to do the end of the episode. Okay, let me do my best to be quick.
Yeah,
So, I mean, I guess I kind of did that. I kind of wrote until the character formed instead of cognitively thinking it out, and then I scrapped that aspect of things and rewrote it, and it was a similar story idea, but like a lot of different stuff. Yeah.
Yes, that's more or less what I've been trying to say.
Yeah, and but like sometimes I also do that in sections if, let's say, a character that I wasn't expecting to appear, I felt like I needed to make a minor character, and then their personality slowly formed, and yeah. Anyways, Perfict, where can people find you?
The Rumpus Room, which is the Discord channel in the doobly-doo, and do this every week.
Okay. Christy, where can people find you?
Normality Quake on Twitter. Christy Abbey is spelled just like there. Is my channel. The one big interview. The one big interview got postponed for reasons neither of us could control. And if you actually like, you can look me up on Amazon because there's a fair amount on there. So there. I never promote my actual writing.
Yeah.
I don't know why I should.
Yeah. Is there anything in particular you're working on soon or whatever? Anything coming out soon?
Yeah, I am interviewing myself without cuts, which means it's all timing. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Which means pre-recording one of them and no cuts. And I am doing a video on General Pulaski, which is a thing I've wanted to do for a while because I've mentioned him the entire length of this silly show we're on. And then somebody basically challenged me to do something with it. I'm like, oh, I don't know why I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
someone else who lives in Buffalo, by the way, and didn't even know that there was a statue of Pulaski downtown.
And you can always find me at Ozma in the Dark just about everywhere, except for here, where I'm on the Fluid Voice, and I'm also on the show. I mentioned it. It's on Wednesdays. Rainbow Shelter News. Sorry, I don't know why I said bridge. Rainbow Shelter News, which is on Wednesdays here, and you can find me on Sundays. You can also find me on Saturdays and Sundays on Twitch late at night, raiding from 10 p.m. Eastern to question mark. Usually like 3 hours at least. And you can also find me tomorrow. I will be on Sophia Botha's thingy, and I'm terrible with remembering names of shows. And like I said, Saturday and Sunday, so you can find me on twitch.tv/Ozma in the Dark. You can find me at osmainthedark.com, and there are links to stuff, including my channel, because I actually updated my website, and it definitely mentions the Fluid Voice very...
Yeah, I keep forgetting to mention the shows I'm on this channel. Why is that?
Oh yeah, Christy is also on the Fluid Voice and Rainbow Shelter News. Rainbow Shelter
Like,
News also
comment,
has
and
Callan.
subscribe.
Like, comment.
Ring that bell.
Yeah,
Like, comment, and subscribe. We have a Patreon.
Exactly.
The YouTube litany.
The prayer.
And also, your life matters, your voice matters, and you matter. And I said it in the wrong order, I know.
Honestly, having gone back now to listen to earlier ones, I did say it the other way initially.
Well then, with that note, bye.
Peace.